Ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, welcome to the Robb Crocker Show. My name is Alex Gonzalez. I'm here with JB, Jared Burrows.
That's me right here.
How you doing, JB?
I'm doing fantastic. Welcome back, Gonzo.
Thank you. Welcome back yourself. And of course, the man of the hour himself. Let me introduce Robb Crocker. Good to have you back.
And look at where I am, JB. I'm in the studio sitting across from you, hoping I get to hear you talk tonight.
How'd this happen?
You will. Since you took my seat, I'll be talking a lot more because I took your seat.
Touche, brother, touche. Well, guys, dance with the devil, walk with the angels, and the truth will set you free. We got a lot to talk about tonight. It's amazing how from one week to the next, the world changes with all the parts and pieces that move. But I just am blessed to be here with both of you guys tonight, so thank y'all both.
Absolutely. Glad to have you back. I'm really excited to talk about all these topics that you got ready. Let's do it.
Always remember, if you see it, believe it. Believe in what you see. Your eyes do not lie. Mm-hmm. If you see it, believe it. So when you hear something, turn your ears off for a little bit, guys, and open your eyes and see what it was you thought you heard. Because words can be spun in a way that you will believe something that really isn't true. Mm. That's what's going on in the media over and over and over.
Yeah, close your eyes and just listen to what we have to say.
That's all it takes, guys. That's all it takes. So believe in what you see. And we're very fortunate to live in a great country where if you're not happy right now, you have the opportunity and the ability to go out tomorrow and do something different to change it. So make yourself happy and believe in yourself, and just always remember, life is like water. If you ever see water sitting in a puddle, it becomes stagnant and muddy. You have to keep moving. That way, your life becomes fluid. Just remember, your life is like water. Keep moving and make it happen. Just make it happen, guys.
No, that's a great analogy, and you got to move with it, you know, because life is up and down, left and right all the time.
Life will pass you by.
And the harder you try to hold on, the more exhausted you get. So you just got to go with the flow.
You can't fight the current, right?
There you go. So the flow of the water is your life. You want to constantly be moving, whether you're going right or whether you're going left.
Yeah.
But you have to be moving because the direction doesn't matter. What happens is when you sit still is when everything becomes stagnant and you start rotting away inside.
Absolutely.
Speaking of rotting away inside, let's go to Jeffrey Epstein, Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, and Donald Trump. Are we being lied to?
Yeah, what is going on?
Is the wool pulled over our eyes? We heard through this election cycle, all of this information was coming. We will know the list. We will know. So clearly, there has to be more to the story, as some famous person used to say. I can't remember him, but old guy. He always would say that at the end of the show, JB. There's always more to the story. So, when Dan Bongino is willing to quit his job because he thinks there's shady business, and the list is... The problem is, if I didn't hear it with my own ears, Pam Bondi said she was going to release the list.
Yeah. Months ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now there is no list. So what was she speaking of? Was she speaking out of turn? She was just saying what people wanted to hear?
Yeah, she said, one of the last things that she said about it was, I have all the documents, they're on my desk, waiting to review. This was back like in February, I think. And the argument that could be made is like, well, she reviewed the documents and realized that there wasn't a list of names or anything like that. And you could say that, well, maybe there's not a list per se, but without a doubt in my mind, they have all the information to compile into a list for sure. The flight logs, you can't tell me that the flight logs don't exist. All these names of all these people that went to the island don't exist. You can't convince me of that. So someone is lying, or at least trying to spin the truth to make us believe that it's not as bad as we thought. And like you said, when Dan Bongino came out and essentially said, if Pam Bondi doesn't step down, then I'm going to leave, that kind of made me think, okay, wait a minute. I honestly thought Dan Bongino got completely, what would you say, like either threatened
Pushed
or
out, in the nicest way.
because he was all about this, and then turned around and said, well, he did kill himself. Along with Castrotelli, he did kill himself. So now that there's that conversation going on, I'm like, okay, what is really going on?
What's really going on, guys, is there's been a trial. To have a trial, to find people guilty, there was names and information in this file. There's a woman in prison right now, sentenced because of all of this.
Right.
So Jeffrey Epstein's former attorney, Dershowitz, who's a prominent, you see him on Fox occasionally. He used to be a big Harvard professor, big time attorney. He came out and said this afternoon that it's not Pam Bondi's ability to do this. It's two judges in New York that are worried about the safety of all of the young women who testified. So to me, it sounds like there's a spin, another spin, because supposedly Dershowitz's name was on the list.
Really?
Yeah. So when you have someone who came out so strongly and said, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, then immediately said last week, Epstein's a loser, that shit's going by the wayside.
Yeah, why are we wasting our time with this?
Yeah. So, as we say, the truth will set you free. We don't know the truth. And I think that's bullshit that the government is hiding what really happened and who was really involved.
Well, what's interesting is that Pam Bondi said she would release a list, but didn't give a time frame. But Dan Bongino and Castrotelli were very adamant about getting in there and releasing the list, and that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, and now they flip-flopped, which to me is more concerning. So I don't know if it's all a game to convince the Democrats to force everyone to want to release the list, or something happened with Dan Bongino and Castrotelli.
You were talking about internally between the two of them?
Or there's something on them they didn't know about.
Yeah, that they either got threatened or compromised in some way, or is it a play that they're all doing? Which, it's two different arguments you can make.
Well, we talked about it many times on the show. But what we haven't talked about is the resolution of the Kennedy files. We never talked about the Martin Luther King files. I don't know the involvement of government. I don't know the involvement, and we never discussed it. Have either one of you guys read to see what was ever exposed?
I know, yeah, we did a whole episode on the Cigar Guys regarding the JFK files. I think we briefly talked about the MLK files as well. I mean, the JFK files, that's a whole other rabbit hole we could go down. MLK was not as interesting. It was definitely interesting to see kind of who he really was and how the government was using him and other people to push a certain agenda. Rosa Parks, the young lady that was going to be Rosa Parks, they ended up not using her. But there's a lot of stuff that came out that we didn't know and wasn't taught. And I think the Epstein thing is definitely a very different situation. But the same thing is that I think if all this information came out, we would learn a lot that maybe we didn't know, or maybe people are assuming and feel like they know. We just need the evidence for it, or like the confirmation for it. Because I think that a lot of people talking about the whole Epstein thing are pretty on par with what actually happened. It's just a matter of, here's the confirmation, here's what we can do about the people involved, the agencies that are involved, and just prevent that from being a thing and happening again, and holding people accountable.
When we research the JFK files, it does give minor hints to who controls what intelligence agencies were involved. When it comes to the Epstein list, I find it funny that all of a sudden, now that Trump's president again, now you have the Democrats and a lot of the citizens talking about, okay, cool, let's go ahead and release it. All of a sudden, they're more confident wanting to release it. I think that's exactly the play they want, because you get more people involved and more people like emotionally invested wanting to see it. We get the people wanting to push for it, and hopefully it actually does come out.
I just believe there has to be issues and people compromised, because if there was actually any detrimental information in these files towards Trump, the political parties would have used it against
Exactly.
him. So I don't believe that is it.
I do think that they would have used part of it to use it against Trump. I think releasing all of it would definitely put our government and potentially Mossad or other intelligence agencies guilty of controlling this whole, essentially like a PSYOP or blackmail operation. But no, I have no doubt that if this incriminated Trump somehow, they would have at least used a portion of it. You know, just like when they released the JFK files, it wasn't 100%. It was still redacted information. They would have released a little bit of it. Look, this is what indicts Trump. Maybe a few other people that were involved, a few Republicans, maybe a few Democrats that would fall on the sword, but not release the whole thing, because that would jeopardize the entire operation.
So you go from that extreme, Gonzo, to where there used to be over 100, 150 court cases with Trump all across the country.
Yeah.
So that they were pressing and doing anything and everything they could. They were grinding it like a vice, trying to squeeze him, and it didn't work.
No.
So here we are with this, and then you've got certain people, crazy ass lady from Texas, other people who are extreme, saying that Trump is somehow involved. I would believe that Trump would want to get his name far away from this as he can, instead of continuing poking the fire.
Yeah.
When he says that this Epstein stuff needs to go away, well, he ran and said, I will do this. 99.9% of everything Trump has said that he ran on, he's done so far.
Yeah.
So this, I don't understand why he's walking away from it.
Yeah, it is definitely something to keep an eye on, because it felt like a complete 180 when he came out and said, we're still talking about this. It's like, wait a minute. Your entire administration was pushing this a few months ago, and now it's like it never happened.
Well, I think it's a great move, because you see the representative, District 17, Ro Khanna from California, talk about, I'm going to release the Epstein documents. You never heard any representative on the Democrat side ever care about sexual exploitation of children before.
I hope that your theory is right, because
all of a sudden, we're going to release it, because that one guy like Ro Khanna is definitely not like he's only been a U.S. representative since like 2016.
So yeah, your belief is basically,
hey everybody. This really is JB here.
I think he was cloned.
So what I'm saying is that the fact of the matter is, if you're able to get the Democrats to be so confident about it and then drum up their base, so you have both sides. Because obviously Trump's base already wants them released, so he doesn't have to do shit. He can convince the Democrats to tell them themselves.
I mean, that is
They're that stupid.
Yeah. I could see that being a theory. I mean, I don't know what the truth is. Another theory, I think we might have talked about this last week, Alex Jones basically said that Trump is going to use it to blackmail the deep state to do what he wants, which is arguably kind of doing the same thing. But, I mean, if this information really is true and these people were committing crimes against children and people, against their will,
there has to be. People have been convicted.
Yeah.
When there's a woman in jail, there was another man who was convicted, who was in prison, who supposedly killed himself. There's information in court files that's there,
right,
that as long as it does not harm anyone who is in the suit, which to me, if you're releasing individuals who actually got on an airplane and flew to Epstein Island, all you're doing is exposing that individual. You're not exposing young ladies.
Right. You're talking about how they were saying, if we go through with this, the victims are going to be,
Yeah.
attacked or gone after. We don't want to show their faces when the crimes are happening and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, how long has the technology existed where you can blur someone's face out or blur their entire body?
I don't think it's like that. It's fact matter is like, say if you flew there and you hurt me, if you go down, you'll have me whacked. It doesn't really matter.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, it is possible to go forward without having any of the victims actually involved. I think it is possible.
Well, like just the manifest list would be good. But the
Right.
thing is, if you do just that without
Let me
evidence,
ask you both this. How important is it to you? Do you really give a shit about it, or is there more things that press the matter to you right now going on in the country?
Well, I think that there's different levels. Like, this is something that maybe
Sorry.
doesn't...
And why does it matter? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this matters to me because I think that it involves the higher ups in the government and in the agencies that control what is going on. And we've learned over the course of the last few years, especially, that the intelligence agencies are really in charge of a lot of stuff that's going on. When you've elected all these different presidents in the past, you're really not electing two different people. You're electing the same guy in a different suit and looks different, but the agenda really is this big plan that the deep state has been pushing for so long. So I think the importance of this is to go after the agencies that are responsible for the damage that has been done. I think it is important. But to answer your question too, there's a lot of things that affect me more directly that we could worry about. Or like, for example, even Trump said, we have the floods in Texas going on. We need to talk about that. I agree. There's a lot of stuff we need to talk about, a lot of issues that we need to tackle. But we can't just brush this under the rug and say it never happened. We still have to go forward with this.
what I was saying before is that if you release just a manifest list, it might show Donald Trump, because he did potentially fly across Florida in the Lolita Express. But then that would accidentally, incidentally, or indirectly tie him to all these people who are pedophiles. So you got to be careful when you release the list. But if you release a list and don't take his name off, that looks sketchy too.
Right. If his name's on the list, it has to be released.
Regardless of who's on the list, we got to see it.
Damage control, because they've Bill Gates, they've named a lot of people. And just because your name is there, there's a lot of people who travel to Pro-Am golf tournaments. There's a lot of people who go to social events when there's sketchy people there.
Well, yeah, it's like going to a strip club and not getting a dance, but how do you say you didn't?
You were at the strip club.
Exactly.
Yeah, where else are you going to the strip club? Yeah.
Steak.
Touche. Speaking of steak, now that I am back in town, where do you think I will be eating my first dinner?
Oh, man. It's a hard guess, but...
All right, man. Filet mignon or the cowboy...
One of those two. It will be either the bone-in ribeye or the filet. They offer the filet pan-seared. I choose to get it cooked on the grill.
And who is they?
They would be the Vineyard, and the cook on the grill is Gene, and the chef is Chef Liz with her fabulous staff back there. They somehow have managed to get the coldest plates ever for their salads. I know a guy who recommended that, and it's amazing. The steak comes out just... There's not a better steakhouse in the greater Orlando area. If you want a bone-in ribeye or if you want a filet, you go to the Vineyard in the greater Orlando area, and I can guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. And if you don't like it, the Robb Crocker Show will pick up your bill for the evening.
I think, too, it's because this
How's
isn't...
that, Gonzo?
That's a great... Hey, you might as well go, honestly. But I think because they're not, like, commercialized, it's really like a family business. They really take pride in making the food correctly. It's not like, a chain where you can go to all over the country and, it's going to be an okay steak. Like, they take care of you. They make the food right. I mean, it's definitely the best place to go to.
It's an intimate place that I literally been gone for a couple weeks. On the way over here before the show, I went downstairs and I walked in. Immediately, Lauren behind the bar, 38. Hey, Crocker, we missed you. Glad you're back.
Yeah.
Had my beer, came over. We did a pre-show. Told Robbie I'd be back after the show for dinner. It's a family that wants you to come in and enjoy your dinner and have a great experience. It's not about turning seats. It's about the experience that you get while you're there eating.
The Vineyard's one of these places where you can order a filet mignon for lunch, and then the chef will take time to come out and ask you how it tasted. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Or you can get Acapulco nachos.
Avocado nachos would be good too.
The variety of the menu is just tremendous. And always remember, they have a bar menu sitting on the bar that is in black leather now, which it really looks good sitting there. And I think they're on the way to turning all the burgundy menus to black, which will be more enticing for Crocker.
There you go.
We got anybody watching?
Yeah, so back to the Epstein thing real quick. Someone made up a good point is like, what if they're trying to essentially keep the Epstein thing under wraps because let's say hypothetically 80% of Congress is on there. If that's the case, they need a plan
To replace
of what
them.
they're going to do. Well, I mean, that would be
elections.
mass arrests like you've talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, that would take an entire army essentially to actually get all these people properly arrested and prosecuted. So that is a point too. It's like, listen, back up a little bit. We need to kind of, maybe they did review the documents and said, this is insane. We can't handle this right now. We need to, step back, plan this, and handle this accordingly. Maybe. We've talked about this before too. There's another theory where instead of going right away and trying to get all the people in the bottom that you can easily get, wait until you find the people at the top, like get as high as you can and start making the arrests there.
I think it'd be crazy if Jeffrey Epstein's still alive and they get him to testify against everybody else.
All right, here we go, guys. So I need one of these to listen to this kind of shit. Come on, JB.
But if you do that, you would tie Mossad and the CIA together, and that's the shit show that I think they're trying to avoid.
What makes you say that?
Because Epstein's definitely a Mossad agent, and he can only operate within the United States secretly for so long without the CIA knowing. All the central intelligence agencies across the world know about each other.
And they work together.
Well, since this has all occurred in all of the Bahamian Islands now, it is more expensive to go to the Bahamas now. You have to pay a tax just to swim in the water there anymore. So, switching subjects away from Epstein because we all believe that there's more to the story.
Yeah.
There really is. There's a lot of issues, and I believe there's a lot of people compromised, and I think that's why Dan Bongino had the heartache that he had.
Are you saying he's compromised, or he knows people are?
He knows that there's more to the story.
Yeah.
He did say this is a hill that he was going to die on, or he was not going to give this up. So
in his last episode on the Dan Bongino show, he did say that.
Anyway, let's go. Next topic.
All right, the next topic is I'm here in the house of where Branch and Barrel happens to be tonight. And your favorite bottle is?
I think the flagship bourbon is my favorite for sure. Close second is the weeded bourbon. Both are very fantastic. For me, it mainly depends on my mood. The weeded bourbon is a special occasion for me. The flagship bourbon is just the safe route every day for me. I love them both.
Well, we're on the verge of having vodka sit on the table. And we're going to celebrate with JB.
Yeah.
When the vodka's here, we're all going to have a good vodka fresca drink.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait to see this.
Is this next week?
At least next week, maybe 2 weeks.
Getting closer. I got to get it shipped in from Colorado.
Nice.
But I was on the last conversation I had with him, with Scott, it was on the verge, and we should be able to get some.
Very nice.
He received his package from the Robb Crocker show. He got some Blackheart gear, and I forgot to put the Cigar guys' cigars in there. That was my fault.
Can always send another one.
Yep.
And when you get back from your trip next week?
Yeah, I'll be back Sunday night. So.
Oh, yeah. There we go. So that next Tuesday.
We'll see if we can expedite that.
Yeah.
And double time that. We'll have a little ice, a little fresca.
I'm excited to try it.
Yeah, so am I. So I'll see what I can do.
Wait, a little ice. Oh, ice.
All right, we're going to talk about ice later, so don't get excited. But going back to the issues and people being compromised, I think that's everywhere in society. I think that's everywhere in government.
Yeah.
And that's why I go back to what I've been saying, term limits, term limits, term limits. Because you've got these people there in Washington right now who are Republicans, who I think are truly war hawks. They want us to be in some type of conflict, some type of war, where I don't know why. I don't know if they've got investments in Lockheed Martin, Garmin, all of these other companies, but they want us actively selling weapons, actively participating in wars. And one of the things that has changed from last week to this week is that Trump is full bore going to support Ukraine now. I think he's had his feelings hurt. I think he thought he was going to be able to come in and just have a conversation with Putin, and Putin was going to stop the war. And Putin's been more aggressive over the past month than he has been in the past year.
Yeah. It is another thing that kind of flip-flopped. I mean, we saw Trump being cordial with both sides. He was being pretty cordial with Putin. And now it seems like he flipped again, and he's like, well, I'm siding with Ukraine, like you said. He's going to continue to fund that. So there's a few things that it's just, you know, I know JB's more optimistic than I am, but it's like, what is going on really? Why are we flip-flopping so much here in the middle of the year?
I think it's all distraction. Like, supposedly he's been wiping out a lot of the FBI, or parts of the FBI, cleaning it out during this whole Dan Bongino thing. So with the war, he might be doing something else. I think he always plays 5D chess, so he's always doing something to make the media spin whatever. Because who cares what the media says? They're never right anyways. Because we're right on the Robb Crocker show.
Exactly.
But I just think it's more of a game.
But why has he done this right now? He pulled
It makes us talk about it.
He pulled Zelensky's pants down in the White House, put him on his knee, and spanked him like a little baby boy. And now he's reversed course to where he's... Guys, we talk about it here, but there's 5,000 people every week dying there. What would happen if we had 5,000 Americans dying every week?
I mean, is there really 5,000 people a week dying there?
See, we don't know.
That's my thing. Because, I mean, obviously we have all these numbers coming out, all these people. The war's been going on for, 4 years now, basically. But then we see people in or near these parts where the war is happening, filming video, just walking around.
We've had celebrities go there.
So it's like, what really is the truth?
Goes back to what we talked about to start the show, guys. Your eyes don't lie. If it were really that bad, would the news media, especially being able to do what the news media does, they would have that plastered. First thing,
Yeah.
Look at the children dead. Just like they're doing right now. They still do it every day over in Israel.
Yeah,
on the Gaza Strip. So if it's really that bad, why aren't we seeing it?
Right.
I don't see it on X. I don't see it on any news feed that I get. Do y'all?
No, I mean, as far as the Russia-Ukraine war, it's really just the politics that we see, or like, for example, you just brought up, Trump says he's going to continue to sell them weapons, whatever it is. But no, I mean, it was really in the beginning, like in 2021, I think it was, where we really saw like footage from the battlefield, supposedly, and all this stuff. But since then, it's been nothing. But to your point, in Gaza, we've seen a lot more. So maybe there's something there that's really happening. And in Russia and Ukraine, it's like not as bad as maybe we're being told. But obviously there is conflict of some sort.
We talk about this a lot, walking around in your skin and the race that you are. There was a individual from Florida in Israel today who happened to be a Palestinian, and a group of thugs jumped on him and killed him. I don't condone violence for either side. You need to respect the individual that you're dealing with. Just because you happen to be black, I happen to be white, you happen to be Puerto Rican, you happen to be Jamaican, it doesn't matter. Respect the individual, give them the space that they deserve, because that's what makes America great. It's not Donald Trump. Donald Trump, yes, he has a great theme that he actually paid somebody for. I don't know if either one of you know this.
Oh yeah, the slogan.
He paid Bobby Bones for this slogan when it all started back when it originated.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, I want to say in the 80s and the 90s.
But
when that
Bobby
original
Bones
campaign.
he was a DJ, and then he had a slogan. He has a show on XM, or it's Sirius Radio now, I think. Sirius Radio. But he actually paid to have this slogan. And look at what this slogan's done and how much money this slogan's made. Look at this slogan, how many people it's touched their hearts.
The hats, all the merch.
Yeah, people have rallied around this. MAGA, Make America Great Again.
Oh, I thought you took that from Reagan years ago.
No, Bobby Bones had I guess it would be a patent or
Copyright.
copyright.
Yeah.
There you go. So,
Because Reagan had the buttons "Make America Great Again" years ago.
well, I think, like we were talking about, America is better off today than we've been in a long time. There is no doubt. Gas is cheaper. Groceries are less
They're
expensive.
getting there. They really are.
Yeah. And it's interesting, certain items at the grocery store are more expensive. I boycotted chicken. I don't eat chicken anymore. If you can take a 6-week chicken and you can take him from here, 4 weeks later, he's here, got big old breasts, drumsticks, I'm not eating that motherfucker no more.
Yeah.
So chicken is out of my diet. I'm staying with steak. I'm staying with seafood that I catch. We talked about it before. There's a huge lawsuit in South Carolina right now because of buy local shrimp, buy local seafood. Well, they ended up finding out there was over 50 restaurants that were advertising local shrimp that were not caught off the waters of South Carolina.
Wow.
They were foreign shrimp. So when you go to restaurants, you never know what you're getting. When you go to grocery stores and it says farm raised fish, I highly recommend you not buying that.
Yeah.
Go look at the environment they're raised in. Look at what a salmon looks like that is farm raised. Doesn't look like anything that's out in the wild. They dye the meat to look the color of salmon. So, but hopefully Kennedy will get all of that straight.
Yeah, for sure.
Make America healthy again.
I think so. I mean, a lot of things happened early in the administration where the price of food generally has gone down. Obviously, with the tariffs, certain foods have gone up in price a bit. But a lot of times you have American companies that sell the same thing, and it could be better. Like, you know, when you're talking about the healthy thing, they could be actually more healthy. So at the end of the day, your favorite brand might cost a little more, but you can find something new to try that costs less and probably is better for you.
We talk about this a lot. When I grew up, you had 3 choices of a drink. You had a Pepsi-Cola, a Coca-Cola, and then all of a sudden Mountain Dew came in. You go in a gas station now, it's 1, 2, 3. The whole store is surrounded by refrigerators of different drinks, from energy drinks to types of water to types of everything. And I don't know if the selection process, by allowing us to have so many choices, is actually beneficial. I know it is for the businesses and the things like that, but Red Bull has been around for over 20 years or longer. And you look at all of the other energy drinks that pop up on a daily basis. I've been a big supporter of Red Bull. I've been for over 25 years.
Still no wings, though.
I actually, speaking of wings, I was duck hunting in Mattamuskeet, and with 2 old men, and this is right when they call them mojos is what they call them. They are ducks that have wings that spin around on them, that look like ducks simulating landing on the water. And I had this old man hunting with me. his name was Doc. We called him Doc. And he said, Crocker, I got it. He shot the fucking decoy. Shot it out of his. So it busted up the wing, busted it all up. So one wing was still on there, the other one was gone, and we're literally 3.5 hours away from civilization out there. So there was nothing. So I took the old wing off, the wing that was still there, and I traced it off of a Red Bull box, and I duct taped that cardboard wing. So I think I actually created wings for Red Bull.
Wow. Full circle.
Isn't that amazing how that all worked out? But no, again, the energy drinks. Speaking of energy drinks, I saw today that Kai Trump, a senior in high school, signed a NIL deal with Accelerator Energy Drinks.
Oh, really? Huh.
So, as a senior in high school, Kai Trump has a contract with an energy drink. She has a contract with TaylorMade. So I would say she's set for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she wasn't already.
What is that? Be careful what you ask for, because I'm sure there's a curse along the way.
I'm sure, yeah.
So I did see right before I came over that Donald Trump pulled the plug on the National Guard in LA. So he's pulling them off the streets. So did y'all agree with that or disagree with that decision? Putting them there and pulling them off.
Well, I think when he did put them there, it was definitely necessary given what was going on. And, I mean, that was what feels like a month ago, maybe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they've been there for a month, obviously we haven't heard or seen anything on TV. I mean, it becomes irrelevant so quickly anyway. I'm sure that they're not really needed there anymore. I'm sure that the protests have died down and all the chaos has pretty much died down. I mean, they get tired of it after a week anyway, so.
I thought he would start mass arresting the pedophiles by this point.
Well, I mean, there was some of that going on, and I hope they continue to do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, throughout the whole administration, I'm sure after the end of the 4 years, we'll see the mass arrests of all these different, you know, people committing crimes against children and stuff like that. We saw it in the first term. I know that he started doing it this term, but I'm sure we're going to see a lot of that still. I don't see that not happening.
It's good.
Speaking of children, I'm sure everyone has seen the bust that happened in California at the cannabis farm. There was a bust out there. I showed up. There was a lot of other people. And they ultimately arrested over 350 people.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And protesters showed up. They were jumping on cars and acting crazy. And what people don't realize, I say this a lot, every action has an equal or greater reaction. You're breaking the law when you throw a brick at one of those cars.
Yeah.
You are breaking the law when you throw a rock at one of those cars. And Trump has authorized moving forward, if you do that, he wants them to stop, immediately go arrest them right now. So is this only going to inflame the situation? Because ultimately there's going to be a time where someone out there in that crowd that's hiding is going to shoot one of these officers.
I mean, based on what we've seen, whenever the law enforcement does get involved, or the National Guard in some cases, I think that it does diminish what's going on for the most part. Obviously, like you said, there's always another reason to protest, and there's always another reason for people to come out and throw bricks at cars and whatever. But we've seen time and time again, when law enforcement is present and they're able to take care of that situation, they all scatter at the end of the day. If they're not arrested, they're running away. And we saw the mass arrest happening in California where they surrounded them and said, everyone here is getting arrested. It works. It really does. So I don't think that it emboldens people to keep doing it, especially the type of people that are doing it. They're not built for this. They really aren't. As soon as law enforcement shows up and actually starts threatening them, they run scared.
Yeah, the true colors come out.
These really aren't, militiamen. They aren't freedom fighters. They're just looking for attention or maybe a little bit of money, and that's really all that
They
it
were
is.
never spanked as a child, essentially.
That too.
Honestly, if I was Trump, I'd have doubled down, got even worse, even harder, Just like when Rudy Giuliani cleaned up New York.
Well, one of the things about this farm that no one actually is talking about, cannabis is federally illegal. It doesn't matter that you have what you have in California. Every individual there, whether they were legal or illegal, was breaking the law and could have been arrested. But through this process, the one that I paid the most attention is they found 14 children who had no parent there. They had been child trafficked, and they're out there working. So when libtards, Democrats, and everyone's jumping up and down, no matter what side of the fence that you stand on, do you stand with the children? Do you want to see the children protected? Because if you do, this is what's happening. They are finding them. And it's sad when there's hundreds of thousands of children that are missing, that have crossed the border, that no one knows where they are. So that's what's frustrating when you hear both sides of the fence, whether it's libtards, Republicans, talk about something that matters. Going back to what we were talking about with Epstein, there's a plethora of things that need to get done and need to get worked out and need to happen, that Congress and the Senate need to be working on instead of up there doing what they do.
Yeah.
I agree, for sure.
We got anybody else paying attention, or is it just us three tonight?
Someone did say that in response to your previous question, they believe that the presence of more law enforcement or more National Guard would actually make it worse. So, of course, there's always two sides to the same coin. There's always two different opinions, maybe more. I happen to disagree, but I'm sure that maybe we'll see your opinion come true. Who knows?
That same person, whoever that may be, is the same person. January 6th, we didn't have National Guard. Look at the chaos and the riot that took place.
Well,
You can almost guarantee that if National Guard had been there, it would have been eliminated. You had one person asking for it, one person not allowing it. And I think that the chaos was encouraged.
for sure, yeah.
So
And obviously, yeah, with the National Guard there, they wouldn't have been able to get past the steps, essentially.
exactly. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You have to be able to protect both sides of the fence. And I personally think it's better when there's police there. I feel safer when you go to a concert, when you go to a sporting event. If you see police everywhere, what's your mindset?
I was just going to say
it's
that.
a great deterrent.
I was just going to say that. There was when we were in Tampa this past weekend, and there happened to be a concert going on. I don't know who, but obviously a little extra police presence there, with more people in town. And when you go to an event and you have that type of security, you feel safer, especially with an event that big. You know, someone that might be, I don't know if they were famous or not. Honestly, I couldn't tell you who it was, but regardless, and we had Turning Point USA there. There was protests going on there. So having the extra police force there, to me, makes it feel safer. You know, you're less likely to get into trouble or less likely to encounter someone that is going to cause harm. So I'm all for it. I feel safer when they're there.
It's the same principle as TSA. Does it actually work? Who knows?
Sometimes.
But it gives you a sense of security. Whether it's actually, they've changed the law to where you don't have to take your shoes off. And last week or 2 weeks ago, my bag got flagged because I had something that was bigger than the 3.3 ounces.
Yeah.
Which is what it is. And I think that the rules, you can take lighters on there, you can do a lot of things. But it also, when I sit on a plane, every time I sit on there, all it takes is an individual who is mentally unstable to run and try to open the door.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, if there was no TSA, what do you think is going to happen? What's going to be able to get on that plane? What's going to be able to, the damage that's going to be caused, obviously. Is TSA perfect? No. Sometimes stuff does get through. But if there was no TSA, It's, free for all. We're not going to be flying.
So what did they flag? Was it that Branch and Barrel vodka?
It was similar to that. Let's just leave it at that. It was bigger than it was supposed to be.
Someone said that, Texas needed help. Why not send the National Guard there? Well, I would say this. I haven't seen a lot of coverage on what's going on in Texas, which makes me believe that they're actually handling that situation correctly. Because when the situation is not handled correctly, the news is all over it.
Yeah, they'd blame Trump immediately.
Exactly. So, and I've looked into it. Obviously, there's agencies down there helping the people that are being affected. But as far as mainstream news, it's not really being covered as much as it should be.
Why is that? Number one, it's Texas.
Yeah.
And number two, you can look at the comparisons from the hurricane that hit Western North Carolina. Those people couldn't get help because there was no way to get there. Texas, they've been bombarded with help. There's more people there that are helping than they actually have places for them to stay. There's not enough food to feed the people who are there working. So what you said, Gonzo, is completely correct. If they were needed, Texas is bigger in everything, and they are handling their situation. No different than Florida.
Right.
Florida doesn't ask for help. Florida is prepared and doing things right to meet and exceed what disaster can possibly come.
Yeah. Especially recently. I remember Rick Scott would take any chance he'd get to get some federal funding, but Ron DeSantis, he's been handling it pretty well.
So when you look at all of these things in the big picture, you got to ask yourself, what matters most? What matters most to you, JB, in your everyday life, just being a person living? What do you care about the most?
Well, I think health is number one, personally for me, but all for my friends and family, the safety and security of everyone. And not just in Florida, but the entire United States.
So basically, you're a hedonistic individual and you put yourself before everything else, is what I just heard.
No, I just said safety and security of my friends and family.
No. You said self first. That was your first statement.
We said health.
I said health.
Health.
Health. Yeah.
Health.
Like being
Health.
healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, like smoking cigars, healthy.
Yep. It's definitely a daily thing.
Okay. Gonzo, I find the question interesting because when you look at people walking the streets in all municipalities, from small towns to big cities, wherever they are, and if you went up, which we're going to go on a road trip and we're actually going to do some stuff out in town, and ask people, what matters most to you? What do you think the answer is going to be?
I think that money would come up quite a bit, having a good economy, being able to, take care of yourself and your family. I think money is usually the biggest issue. Safety and security, I think it'll be talked about less with this administration, just because relatively they've been doing a good job at safety and security overall. So money probably be the most important part.
I think it's going to be relevant to where we go.
That's
Ask
true.
the question.
Yeah.
Because I think if we go to an area to where there's people with purple hair, I'm going to let JB ask the question number one. But I think the answer is going to be different. And sometimes you get mesmerized by the environment that you actually are in. Where when you're walking around and you see certain things that look odd to you, you notice them. But when you go to other areas, like this past week, New York City, when they got torrential floods, they got 6 inches of rain. The whole subway system had flooded. Water was coming up the stairs from the subway out on the street. And certain people were helping certain people, and other people were trying to mug people. So I think it always goes back to who and what you're thinking as an individual. Do you want to be a hoodlum? Do you want to be a good person? Do you want to be a part of society and see your neighbor have more? Because when people give and help other people, it gives you more self-worth. And I was joking about being a hedonistic individual. But I think it's important to realize how important you are and believe in yourself and know that I have to get up every morning and I got to be a positive product of my community and of this country. The people who don't do that are the reason we see all the shit we see on TV, because they haven't been spanked or taught that what and where we live matters.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
So if we, as the Robb Crocker Show, and Gonzo, JB, and Crocker can somehow help individuals realize who are in a bad spot, who are hurting, to help them find what they need to find, I think all three of us would agree that we'll do whatever we can to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point. I mean, people that use their ability to help others, you know, not trying to sound like it's a selfish thing, but they do end up, it's almost like, I don't want to say karma, but, you know, they give good, good comes back to them. I mean, it's in the Bible. It's in the teachings of God. If you help others, you will also be helped in return. And I think that doing it out of a selfless place is the best thing. Because like you said, you feel better about yourself and people look at you a certain way and oftentimes would be willing to help you help others as well. That's why, like, you know, people do different fundraisers for people or whatever the case is. I mean, it's a great feeling when you're doing it or when you're doing something to help others. I agree.
And I don't believe it's always financially.
No, yeah.
I think it's a simple gesture of being at the grocery store, seeing someone walk out with their grocery cart, they've got their groceries loaded in their cart, and you just tell them, I got your cart, I'll take it back for you. Something simple like that.
Yeah.
And with homelessness being where it is and people on the street being where it is, I think people become immune to seeing people who need help. When someone has a cardboard sign out there, broke, lonely, need money, whatever, I think people have literally become immune to that sign and just think that they're out there trying to freeload and they don't want to work.
Yeah.
And I would say a lot of them actually are, because there's been documentaries done, people who do that every day, and then they follow them to their car, then they follow them to their house. So I guess if you want to stand out there in the sweltering heat of Florida to do that, good for you. But there's a lot of people out there who actually really, truly need help. And there's a lot of issues with mental stuff right now, right, wrong, left, because there's people who just can't tolerate Trump. There's people who can't tolerate the other. And I think that it's sad that they're so weak that they can't operate in a normal environment.
Yeah.
So how or what we can do is the Robb Crocker Show. Anybody who has any issues, needs help, let us know. Speaking of help, we're going to go to my favorite subject. JB's going to argue with me. We're going to talk about the Dignity Act, which is what I've been preaching for weeks. I want an Ellis Island. I want a place to where illegal aliens can go in a safe environment. And I don't know the right, wrong, but the Dignity Act that we all talked about earlier, it's a 7-year plan. You pay a fine. You pay 1% of your salary every week, which I don't think that's the headache for 1% is asinine. I think you should be in a system to where you're categorized. And I say that gently because I don't want anyone to feel like they're cattle.
Right.
But I say that you've got to get on a book. You've got to get to where you have a name, you have the ability to be tracked. And this is the only way that I know to fix the problem that we're in right now. You can't deport everybody here and that's in this country illegally. You're not going to deport them all. You're just not. So let's find a way that we can systematically keep them here working because they add value. They really do add value. If those people aren't here working, the gas stations are going to start losing money. Restaurants are going to start losing money. The places they live are going to be vacant because there's no one lining up to move right in where they move out of. So there's a lot of variables that I think with all the smart people that are in Washington, D.C., instead of arguing and doing what they're doing, let's put a plan together. If they need help, the three of us will go up there and help them. We'll take a day or two off and go help them.
Yeah.
But I think we can line that out. And I think they should have that as a priority and make that happen. So, in saying that, I know, JB, you want everybody to get arrested and get sent back to wherever. But I just think it's important that we figure out a way to get them in the system.
Yeah.
Now, if you are a convict, if you are a child molester or murderer or whatever, I think you get arrested, sent to Alligator Alcatraz, and get deported as soon as humanly possible. Mm-hmm. I don't want you in this country.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't think illegal immigrants want those criminals in the country.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just think we got to find a way to make it happen. And we talk about it every week. I don't know what you can do or what we can do to try to come up with a better plan, but what's happening right now is not working.
Right. People in the comments say they love the plan.
Well, I am Robb Crocker.
And Robb Crocker's always right.
So, JB, as the night comes to an end, I learned a little bit about you tonight. And it's great knowing that you are a hedonistic, selfish individual. Tell me what you want to get off your ship, you selfish bastard.
Not himself.
There's a lot of great things to talk about tonight. I'd say get the Epstein files released, and anyone who's a compromised pedophile needs to be walked off the ship.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's really good.
I think
they need to be out in the middle of the ocean.
Or they could go to
with the alligators
Alcatraz.
instead of the alligator Alcatraz.
In the moat, exactly.
In the moat.
They can go straight in the moat. It's a good one. I think, too, another thing would be not falling for the distractions. Because it's been a thing for a long time. A lot of distractions in the mainstream media and what people are sharing or choosing to share. So just trying your best not to fall for it and focus on what really matters, whether it's at home, in your local community, or whatever your reach is. Focus on helping people, like you said, and not falling for the trap.
I'm going to go back to how we started this show, guys. I want everyone to believe in what your eyes see, not the words you hear. If you see it, believe it. And always know, like I said earlier, life is like water. Keep moving. Don't sit stagnant. And if you're on Interstate 95 traveling, don't become a member of the Buc-ee's cult. Buc-ee's off the ship tonight.
Amen to that. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already and hit that notification bell so you know every time we go live and post more content. Make sure you follow us on social media at The Robb Crocker Show. A lot of great things are coming your way. And until next week, we'll see you later.
Boom.
Have a good night.
Show me the measure